want to hear what the Goku bad dad takes sound like. I want to see what people say when they're like, Goku's a bad dad. No meme, no troll, no TFS reference whatsoever. Goku's a bad dad and why? Okay. I got to hear these arguments, bro.
I'm really making this, aren't I?
You know, this is one of those topics I always get the idea to make a video about, but then I realize how petty it is and how much effort I would need to go through in order to make it. But here we are. Because Twitter has made me an unhinged madman. I am constantly surrounded by room temperature IQ nitwits that have zero idea what they're actually talking about.
Okay,
but
well.
with my 10,000 IQ,
Oh,
I
okay.
will show you the error of your heathenist ways.
Okay.
I'm going to systematically dismantle this stupid image and explain.
Sacrificed his life 2 times for his son's life, was the only one who believed in his son's power when none did, broke the rules of afterlife to save his son, still called a bad father. I mean, there's better ways to argue that he's a good dad, but none of this is wrong, except for this one, but this is a movie.
Explain how it's only correct in the most technical of ways and fails to properly address.
Yeah, but half of it's just a fact.
Goku a bad dad. We need to answer one simple question. What
Tubby, appreciate the gifted.
a good dad? Well,
No, that's the real
A
question.
good parent is someone that provides for your needs. Not just your physical needs, but your emotional needs as well. I also need to submit to you the idea that just because you love something doesn't necessarily make you a good caretaker for it. I can love a
Now, that's a fair point. If we're going to talk about the flaws of Goku as a father, the easiest flaw in Goku as a father is that he didn't realize, your son ain't you. 100%. I've called that out in my video of Goku being a misunderstood character. Go watch it. People still like that video. Loki becoming my most popular video. Anyway, seriously though, I agree with that. At this moment, I agree. Yeah. Goku's biggest mistake as a father is not realizing that, your son doesn't like fighting. This is fair. Now, do I think he's a bad dad because of it? No. Fun fact, fathers make mistakes. I'm not trying to, I know that sounds capey as fuck, but fun fact of the day, your dad ain't perfect. My dad ain't perfect. Ain't nobody dad 1,000,000% perfect.
If you're not taking care of your children's needs, you're still not a good parent, despite how much you may love them. I'm also going to analyze characterization within the context of what I'm given. I recognize that if this show was super realistic to the extent that everyone acted like a real person, everyone would be crippled with PTSD. But sometimes, subtle nuances are all there really is. That's code for some of these characters have like 2 personality traits, so I really have to take what I've got. And as
Oh
an
no,
extra
I'm
note,
scared.
Off-screen time doesn't count. If it was never addressed in the show, it clearly wasn't important enough in the development of Goku's children.
Okay, that scares me.
Discussing the dubs, mostly the Funimation dub. And that's the version
And only
I'm familiar
dub is
with.
scary
That's the
too,
version
but
I'm
y'all
sure
know
most
that.
Westerner fans are probably familiar
Y'all already
with.
know why
I
that's scary.
don't know if the subtitle versions are different or if the manga significantly changes anything. All I know is that the Funimation dub of Goku is a terrible parent. Now, I know that the Goku is a bad dad narrative is something of a meme in the DBZ community.
It's very much a
Dragon
meme.
Ball Z abridged, but let me be perfectly clear. I have always thought Goku was a terrible parent. Even from when I was a
Terrible's
little
crazy.
boy watching DBZ on Toonami. While it is very nice that Team 4-Star decided to adapt something that I personally agree with, it is a conclusion I have reached entirely from the source material.
Okay.
Now, admittedly, part of this
We can
is
disagree,
due to
so
the nature
go ahead.
of how DBZ sets up its arcs. Most of the show is people waiting for Goku to show up and save the day. So Gohan can't really interact with his father too much. He can interact with less important characters that aren't going to signal the end of the arc, say Piccolo, but Goku showing up, being the protagonist, pretty much signals the beginning of the
Are we going to do the Piccolo clears as a father thing, even though Piccolo frame 1 threw him to a mountain, but y'all are bitching about a fucking senzu? It's going to be one of those. It's going to be one of those. Not too much of Piccolo. Don't get me wrong. I don't think Piccolo was a bad father figure. That mountain couldn't blow up the planet. It could kill Gohan. It could kill a 4-year-old. A dinosaur could kill a 4-year-old. Just thought.
End for an arc. When you're watching 20 episodes of Gohan
Oh man, it's gonna be one of them days. Okay, here we go.
Except for his father, it can give the impression that other characters are picking up the slack, or that Goku just isn't around that much. So admittedly, there is some bias just based on how the show is set up. Goku still drops the ball. To claim that Goku died for Gohan in his fight against Raditz is incredibly misleading. Raditz was going to blow up the planet. Killing Raditz saves the planet. Gohan is technically on the planet, but
Look. Okay, seriously. I know some of you, it's first time seeing my face. I know some of you, the goal is to be disagree with Sage Guy. One time. Can we agree? Gang, That was dumb. Can we, for one time, say that the idea that Goku saving his son, well, against Raditz, he was saving the planet. Gohan's just on the planet, is a lazy goalpost and straight up bad take.
To say he died for Gohan implies Goku died for him specifically.
Why was he there?
To save the Earth as a whole.
Why was he there?
That's not being a good dad. That's basic utilitarian calculus. That's a call pretty much anybody would make. That's not something unique to being a good parent. Saving the Earth is something anybody would want to do, even at the cost of their life. Even then, I don't really consider saving your kid a mark of a good parent. I just consider it parenting. Full stop. You are literally not a parent anymore when your only child dies.
What? The intro scared me. Editor, just go back to how we introduced the video.
I am constantly surrounded by room temperature IQ nitwits that have zero idea what they're actually talking about.
How he introduces the video scares me because he talks like, and I know people accuse me of this too, so fair enough. He talked like a big brain know-it-all. Dog, you didn't make a lick of sense just now. You would argue that A, if you lose your kid, you're not a parent anymore, which objectively, you're not an active parent, but you were a parent. And then we would judge you as a good or bad parent. How would you be deemed a bad parent? Letting your kid die. Saving is a good attribute of being a good parent. If you're the parent that lets your kid die, that doesn't DQ you from the conversation, and therefore you're no longer a bad parent or a good parent because you're no longer a parent anymore. You would have been an awful dad. If Goku said, oh, Raditz took my kid, but I'm too weak, and let Gohan get kidnapped and go to Vegeta and shit like that, he would have been an awful father. He would have been a cowardly father. What?
Keeping your kid alive is the core of what being a parent is. To me, this is just showing up for the test. I don't give points for doing the most basic and core function of what is demanded from a dad. We'll talk about the other instance of this later.
And that's not a core function. That's the last thing. That's not a core function. Not a lot of parents are willing to die for their children. Do you understand that? Maybe your dad is, maybe my dad is. A lot of parents will choose the wife. A lot of parents will choose their mother. A lot of parents will choose their cousins, their brother. Not every parent will die for the kid. I know that sounds shocking, but not everyone will die for their kid.
So believing in your son's power is the most technical turbo cope of this entire image. Everything about the Cell arc demonstrates why Goku is an awful dad and legitimately does not understand the other people around him. In the Cell arc,
does not understand is fair.
Is he wants to have Gohan fight. He doesn't tell him over the course of the year they spend together before the Cell games, and then sends out his son like a Pokemon to become a murderer at age 11, or everyone dies. All this because Goku wants Gohan to essentially be the new champion of the Earth, a responsibility and title he never asked for. Not only does this plan place an immense amount of pressure that a boy his age should not be dealing with, it also has a massive flaw that comes exclusively from Goku's ineptness at understanding his own son.
Okay. It doesn't matter. He doesn't thirst for battle and mayhem. He's not a fighter like you.
Fair enough. This was a mistake from Goku. 100%. He misunderstood the character of Gohan, but he didn't misunderstand what Gohan's potential was. I don't know how he's going to twist not caring about or believing in his son to be negative, but yeah, 100%. He thought that because his son looked up to his father, that his son wanted to be like his father, meaning he enjoys the things that his father does. What does Goku enjoy doing the most? Fighting. So he thought, okay, boom, my child looks up to me. He's stronger than me. What would be dope? Showing him that he can really be the face of Earth. Now, do I think misunderstanding your kid once makes you a bad father? No.
Do you want to know what he's thinking? He's not thinking about strength or about competition. He's wondering why his father is standing there, letting him die. Your son may be the most powerful person in the world, but he's also a scared 11-year-old boy.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, the fact that Goku
it's illustrated as a mistake.
Gohan doesn't like fighting might not seem that bad on its own, but let's just take a look at how many traumatic experiences you would have to ignore to not know this. Gohan's interactions with fighting goes as follows. His uncle kidnaps him, shortly followed by his dad dying. He's left in the wilderness and then trains with a green slug man. He fights for his life, watching as his friends are killed one by one, only just barely able to scrape out a win.
Oh, this is gonna be
then
good.
He goes into space where his neck is snapped.
This is
he gets
gonna
the
be
hell
good.
beaten out of him by Space Hitler, and then watches watches his friends die again. Bear in mind, I'm just listing major fights he had an actually important role in. I could bite the bullet and bring up indirect instances of trauma. Things like watching the Namekians being killed could not have been good for him. Not to mention Goku choosing to stay out in space rather than be with his family, or any other time Goku prioritized fighting over spending time with Gohan. Watching people die horribly and having your father prioritize training over you, I imagine would leave you with bad feelings towards combat on its own, but being beaten and almost killed probably doesn't help either.
So these are kind of cherry pick scenes, just a little bit. I see where he's going for it. The issue with what he's saying, it implies that Gohan at no moment in time didn't show that either one, he enjoyed being around everybody, or two, enjoyed even the action itself. It was never like obvious that Gohan just didn't enjoy things when he had control of situations. Gohan was a character that is portrayed powerless time in and time out. The rage boost of Gohan isn't, I hate fighting. Yeah, that's not the rage boost. The rage boost is this little kid who is visually powerless and sometimes literally powerless. And then at any given moment, because he's such a compassionate person, he snaps and then he's able to take control of situations just for a brief moment in time. When you look at moments like the Piccolo training, for example, trains with the demon, Gohan was happy as shit when he was able to get food, survive in the lane. Hell, even in Team 4-Star, they depict him happy as shit. When he's able to eat cherries, train with Mr. Piccolo, he said this is some of the best years of, like, all that extra shit. I'm not gonna die on the hill that he outwardly likes fighting. That'd be a little bit of headcanon. But what I will say is he definitely shows to enjoy being around his friends who like to fight. So again, the idea that one would be so fucking crazy to just, damn, you didn't know he doesn't like fighting, you're a bad dad. Especially when you name moments where Goku is either dead, incapacitated, or in space is crazy.
Kidnaps him, shortly followed by his dad dying.
Died.
He's left in the wilderness.
Okay, so really let's start here. Left in the wilderness, Goku's dead.
And then trains with a green slug man,
which he also enjoyed doing. He looks up to Mr. Piccolo to this day.
He fights for his life.
He still was dead and or on the way to the real world. So again, couldn't help this.
As his friends are killed one by one, only just barely able to scrape out a win.
He was defending his father, avenging Piccolo. Gohan frame one, turns around, goes to save his dad. But again, you know...
Then he goes into space where his neck is snapped.
Now that's fair enough, but again, Goku's not there. So all of these things go to remind you what the point of Goku not being here is for. Goku literally doesn't see a lot of these moments. When Goku is there, the comprehension is he fought alongside his friends. You did good, Gohan. There's the amount of times that Goku touches down and reassures his son. But he's not going to talk about that, but yeah, you know what? You got to let the video play out.
Watching the Namekians being killed could not have been good for him.
How would he know he saw that? The point of me saying Goku's not here for these moments isn't that, oh, well, that doesn't have to do with Gohan not liking fighting. What it does have to do with is, yo, how would Goku specifically know if Goku's not there?
Fighting over spending time with Gohan. Watching people die horribly and having your father prioritize training over you, I imagine would leave you with bad feelings towards combat on its own, but being beaten and almost killed probably doesn't help either. Friendly reminder that at the start of Dragon Ball Z, he's 4 and is then 11 by the time of the Cell games.
Gee, I wonder why he doesn't like fighting.
Some of these events Goku
was
wasn't
raised
there
in
for,
war.
so either he never bothered to talk to his son about all these near-death experiences, or didn't put 2 and 2 together, because this is the easiest thing in the world to understand. What's even more damning is that Goku showed up on Namek right as Gohan got his neck snapped. I know for a fact that Goku knows what that looks like, so I can only assume that he looked down at his son, nearly dead on the ground, and went, yeah man, Gohan loves this. This alone, I feel, is enough to prove my point that Goku isn't a capable guardian. This is criminal levels of incompetence.
One thing that we do a lot when we do the bad dad thing, we try too hard to relate things that are like humane to a world literally filled with aliens. What I mean by this is in combat, if Goku was under the impression that his son either enjoys training, enjoys fighting, anything like that, and was just simply defeated, why would he assume that, oh, he must hate this shit? Especially if the misunderstanding is that he wants to be like me. Goku as a kid got beat the up. Truthfully, in more gruesome situations than Gohan ever has. I know that sounds crazy. I don't see how you go, oh, well, I'm just saying. He can't like it. He got his ass kicked this one time. I mean, no shit. A literal child is going to get cocky in the situation when he's winning and, you know, look dead when he's half dead or be sad when he's getting his ass beat. It's almost like they play into this Into the Buu saga. It's almost like they play into this Into the Cell saga, where Gohan, when he's finally in firm control, doesn't know how to act because he's never been in this position where he is in complete control.
Fast forward a bit, and Goku sacrifices himself to save the Earth. Again, not technically for Gohan, but credit where credit is due, he does give Gohan a nice little pep talk. And then using King Kai, he walks Gohan through how to win. To be clear, I always assumed this was just Gohan's imagination or just a visual.
Come here again. I'm sorry. I hate to ask you twice, comment section. I hate to ask you twice because I know how it is. I know y'all think I was waffling earlier in the video. I know y'all think I was waffling just now. Remember that time we agreed? One more time. Please, one more time. Please, one more time. That's a lie. That's not an opinion. That is a lie. To say that Gohan imagined the conversation is a lie. That is not true. Imagined the conversation from King Kai's planet?
Can you hear me? Don't go giving up now. That's not the Gohan I know.
How?
King Kai's helping me tune in from Otherworld.
Fast forward a bit, and Goku sacrifices himself to save the Earth. Again, not technically for Gohan, but credit where credit is due, he does give Gohan a nice little pep talk.
He's talking about the sacrifice. When he says this, he is talking about this in conjunction with the sacrifice. Now, he's again, million IQ, so he should know how subjects, predicates, and all that other shit works. That's of the similar idea. So if anyone were to try to argue, no, he's talking about, no, he's not. He is saying to give him credit, that was a good pep talk, but he saved his life, which is really just a subsequent of the Earth, so he doesn't care about his kid again. Again, nasty man's reach.
Using King Kai, he walks Gohan through how to win. To be clear, I always assumed this was just Gohan's imagination or just a visual metaphor. I never thought it was like Goku's spirit or anything, just artistic imagery. All of this, I feel, is an acceptable level of parenting until this shit happens.
Years ago, that stuck with me. She told me I was like a magnet for all the bad guys that were always popping up. And if you think about it, that's not really too far from the truth. I get the feeling that Earth's gonna be way more peaceful if I just stay where I am now. And King Kai agrees with me.
This is stupid on multiple levels. First, Goku, you have a wife and kid. Also, you may know about the second kid coming along the way. A second parent is always better. Why are you opting out of raising your kids and being a good husband on—
Stop talking. Let me get this right. So his whole premise is that essentially you misunderstood your son, who is a victim of war, for liking said war versus clearly getting physically abused. And then you also show your physically abusive tendencies because of the situations that you attract and that you're fond of. So when Goku makes the solution to sacrifice his own life to remove all of that from his son's life, trust his wife to competently raise Gohan, you have a problem with that. So you have a problem with Goku essentially saying, yeah, you know what? Let's say he's been right the whole time. This is what I'm saying, Chad. You know what? You're right. It's my fault that Raccoon broke your neck. It's my fault that Vegeta was here. It's my fault for all of this shit. In fact, it's my fault for even misunderstanding you. As a result, I'm going to make sure that none of this can happen again to you by making sure that this threat isn't to me, where it requires you, who's straight up stronger than me, to defend Earth. Because I think he's glossing over that. Gohan's stronger than Goku. Hell, I go a step further. I didn't want to do this. I did this in my Misunderstood video, I think. I don't want to get into this bag. He didn't even die on the Senzu bag, so I didn't go into my bag for real. But all I'm going to say, if we really have to talk ball chat, and I want to see what y'all think, full power Gohan. Come here. probably could have 1v1 Cell if he wasn't just a scared kid. In terms of power, Goku wasn't nearly wrong. Gohan, that entire fight is on the defensive. The point of me bringing that up is Gohan is significantly stronger than Goku. So the idea that Gohan wouldn't have to fight any given threat, the only solution would be for Goku to just crazy surpass him. Now that is definitely a goal for Goku. However, given the rage boost, given Gohan might just want to train if he sees Goku training because he wants to be with his father. There's several variables as to why Gohan would have to fight regardless. If Gohan has to fight regardless, wouldn't you just say the same shit is continuing? Oh my God. Oh my God. This is ridiculous. Literally, if you do the inverse of what he's asking for, would still paint Goku a bad dad. If Goku stays, he's a bad dad because he's attracting villains in fight situations to a child who's been raised in war when he could have had 7 years peace. If Goku doesn't save his son, he's a bad dad. He didn't save his kid. If Goku saved Krillin instead of Gohan the second time, he's a bad dad. There is no win. There's no win condition. So even if you think Goku's a bad dad, please don't let this video be the one for it. I hate doing this to other creators, but hey, man, oh my God, bro.
This shit makes zero sense. I'd argue the vast majority of problems occur because Goku isn't around. Or if he wasn't, they would be a lot worse off. I mean, really think about it. Goku was sent to Earth by the Saiyans, which means Raditz is going to show up because his brother was sent there. Okay. Fair enough, but eventually the Saiyans or Frieza were going to arrive on Earth, and Goku not being there to defend Earth only makes things worse. Nappa was able to kill him.
They weren't. That's not true. Again, he's lying. Yo, the only reason the Saiyans were going to Earth is because they overheard Piccolo was there, because Raditz was there. Because Piccolo was there, showed them niggas, they was like, oh wait, isn't that a Namek? Shit, we can get the Dragon Balls. So by virtue, you agree Vegeta would have never been there. So Vegeta's out. Frieza, same thing. Unless you're just going to argue that one random day, Frieza's just going to discover Earth. You know how far Namek is from Earth, bro? I mean, sure, Chad. I guess one random day.
Hello, everyone, because look at that. Goku wasn't there. Namek with the shit, partly because Goku wasn't there from the start. Even the Red Ribbon Army was going to...
Namek went to shit because Frieza is stronger than everyone. Goku being on Namek doesn't change a thing. In fact, it makes it worse. Chat, you want to know what happens if Goku goes to Namek with them and doesn't train in a gravity room? You want to know what happens? They die. Because Goku would see Frieza in TFS fashion, according to him. I'm going to deck you in the schnoz. Beam. Goku would die. Krillin would die. Gohan, bad parent, would die. Now, what the possible shit are you about to say about the androids? The androids is the biggest one-to-one here, even more than Raditz. The androids were made because of what Goku did in the past.
Even the Red Ribbon Army was going to come back with Cell, regardless if Goku was around or not. I'd argue his presence certainly made things better. Even going as far back as the original Dragon Ball, I'd argue that it's probably better that Goku was around to fight the Red Ribbon Army than, you know, him not being around to do that. Even
in the context of saving Gohan's life, no, it's not. But long story short, no, Dr. Zero had a hatred for Goku. Made androids designed to kill Goku and his friends specifically and then take over the world. I don't know. We could sit here and speculate if Jiro's ultimate goal was to blow up Earth. I think we all agree it's not. If we want to get into that debate, so be it. The goal of Dr. Jiro's androids was to, one, obviously assume power, duh, but two, to kill Goku and his friends. If he found out Goku had a kid, he'd kill the kid.
Even while Goku is dead, things are still coming to kill everyone, like with Majin Buu.
This is the only one that's valid. That's the only one that's valid. That Majin Buu, I guess, should be there. Now, if we're talking about in terms of protecting the Earth, obviously Goku being there the entire time is the answer. But we're talking about, yo, let's make this guy's life better, which I thought is the point of the video.
In all situations, Goku not being around only makes everything worse. This is so incredibly counterproductive. I know the reason for this was to try to make a Gohan the main character, but it's done with such little tact that just looks like a bad choice. This results in Goten being...
It was done so all of his friends and family could live peacefully. you metagamed it and brought up to make Gohan the pro tag, but you don't acknowledge that one, Goku wanted Gohan to be the pro tag, or two, that it was to make his friends and family live peaceful lives. Dishonest part 576, bro.
Being 7 years old when he first meets his dad. But no, he's still a good parent, guys. The final thing I need to address with this image is where he comes back during the BoJack movie.
We're talking about King Move. Okay, please don't.
Don't know if that's even canon, but it doesn't really make up for everything I've just brought up. To be clear, I don't think this makes...
Yeah, to be fair, even in BoJack, if I were to have this stance, I don't know why that was relevant.
Goku a bad person. Goku is actually a hell of a guy and does a lot of good. He's just not equipped to raise another living creature. I personally think that this flaw makes Goku a more three-dimensional character. He's not just a god who's good at everything, he's a man who prioritized fighting at the expense of other aspects of his life. This is extremely consistent with his characterization. Being a parent is complicated, and not everyone's good at it. Goku is an amazing savior of the Earth, but he is a horrendous father.
What about Goten? If you were to, your best bet to argue Goku a bad dad, you could try to do with Goten. I think it's very dishonest. The same points as Gohan, that he wasn't alive. Yeah, I had a feeling that's how the comments would be. About your point, Goku didn't sacrifice himself to save Gohan, but to save the Earth is technically true. I think you're being literal here. The reason he chose to fight Raditz was to save Gohan, and sacrificing himself to ensure the safety of everyone, including his son. I mean, fair enough, he is fighting to save his kid, but I just think people place way too much emphasis on it. This video's ridiculous. You took everything literal. No, thank you, bro. On DBS Manga, Goku said he doesn't even know his two sons are born. What? Vegeta said you may not be a bad person, but you're a shitty father. That's why DBS is garbage. Way to destroy character. Yeah. Did he say that? If he said that in the manga, that's just, I mean... Episode 576 of Dragon Ball Super, just changing characters. My God. I don't know if he says that, though. But based on what he uses in the Funimation, that's valid to his point. Goku is a bad dad, I'm assuming, not because he's abusive or even necessarily a bad person, but his negligence. The only argument for that is literally not understanding that his son doesn't like fighting. And that, I think, to argue that is the entirety of Goku's parenthood is ridiculous. To stick to my own guns on why I think Goku's a good father, you're not going to talk about how the entire series is basically revolved around Goku either saving and or spending time with Gohan and Z. You're not going to talk about it. You're not going to talk about how Goku for 4 years dipped off on all of his friends to be with Chi-Chi and his kid, and gave his kid one of the most prized possessions, wearing a 4-star Dragon Ball. You're not going to talk about how he died for that kid. Or you did, but man, you had to take for it. You're then not going to talk about how he immediately went on to save said kid, believe in his kid's power so much, and believe in his kid so much so that he told that nigga how to deflect a spirit bomb. Frame 1. You're not going to talk about that. You're not going to talk about how, even though he doesn't understand his kid, that he devotes the next 4 years, 3 prior to the androids and 1 in a time chamber, to solely being with his kid, not getting a job, despite the fact, if you want to argue that he's a bad dad, you could argue that he's not the most concerned with what Chi-Chi wants to do all the time. Mind you, he does a lot what Chi-Chi wants to do. But if you want to argue he's a bad husband, I guess I think Chi-Chi's just not. I think Chi-Chi's kind of toxic, but that's besides the point. And she's written to be toxic, but that's besides the point. Then you're not going to talk about how he sits there, gives a speech, not in his imagination, but gives a speech to his son saying he's proud he dies for the kid, and then from the grave talks to the kid. Now, what people actually try to pull the card for was, almost saying, why didn't you talk to Gohan the entire fucking time when he was dead? Yeah, because if the goal is to remove your impact on Earth, just sitting there calling from the death realm every day totally removes that impact. That would be counterproductive. Some comments that do agree with me and my chat here. And when me and chat agree, it's a scary sight. That means, damn. You can say he's a good dad, but calling him a bad dad is such a goddamn stretch. Whenever Goku has any downtime, the whole planet, he risks spending with his family. Hell, even in Cell Arc, he spends the 9 ways chilling with Gohan and Chi-Chi. 9 days. He even kept his promise to Gohan in the Saiyan Saga. And it's not like any characters think so either. If Goku's such a bad father, he wouldn't have been Gohan's role model. I know people love to say Goku doesn't spend time with Gohan or whatever, but when you think about it, he is the character that spends the most time with him. Oh, praise someone that read the series. Oh, praise. Oh, praise. What is his response? He spends all screen time that doesn't really amount to much. The fact that Goku doesn't know all the shit about Gohan, in my opinion, tells me that while he may have been present, he didn't really meaningfully interact with his son. I mean, why is Piccolo explaining something as basic as Gohan doesn't like fighting to his father? It seems like Goku flat out doesn't understand his son. Thank you for watching. No, again... I'm not even gonna do it. He has only seen Gohan be a fighter and try his best at being brave. He hasn't seen him be afraid or fight like a coward. He even trained with him and Piccolo for those 3 years to be prepared for the androids, and that was fully his choice. Hell, he's about to go up into the time chamber. Chat, remember when they're about to go to Namek? What does Gohan do in the hospital bed? Yell at Chi-Chi that he's going. All Goku has seen is this nigga want to fight, bro. In the time chamber, Gohan was pushing himself to be impressive the most out of anybody. That when Gohan pushed himself the hardest, saying Goku was going too easy on him. However, when he is around Goku, he's always trying to press him like any son. Also, it makes sense why Piccolo would know Gohan doesn't like fighting, since he basically forced him into... Holy shit. Holy shit. A lot of people would make this mistake, especially when Gohan doesn't show any disinterest towards fighting around Goku. Hell, people still can't comprehend the fact that Gohan doesn't like to fight and keep calling him a failure. At least Goku learned from his mistake. Talk about Super. One thing in Super that Goku does consistently. In Z, he's a little disappointed, but he doesn't bitch about it. He's just, damn, I didn't know you're that weak. In Super, he's like, really, Gohan? You want to train? I thought you would want to study. I thought you want to be whatever. And then he's eager as shit if Gohan's dead ass. Remember that episode where Gohan and Goku train? Goku is so taken aback and reassuring that, yo, you don't have to do this if you don't want to do this. He literally considered not taking Gohan to the Tournament of Power because that's not his thing and he doesn't train. Oh, man. Oh, my God. You know what? I actually think that's a fair point. At least Goku bothered to... Man, Jesus. Okay, let's see. Your argument is dismantled by the fact that Goku fought Raditz solely because he kidnapped Gohan. Goku was willing to chase him after while injured. He straight up put Raditz in a full Nelson because he's trying to kill Gohan. Like, seriously, the mental gymnastics that people go through to argue against the story is ridiculous. Your arguments are basically the same repeated arguments that Pro have been using since day one, LOL. He probably got ratioed, but let's see. Point isn't that he hates his son. It's saying that he died for him implies that he died specifically for Gohan when the fate of the planet is here. Raditz kidnapping Gohan proves my point further. If Goku was a bad dad, why would he cross his mind? Again, Goku immediately tried to give people chase despite being injured, only didn't because everyone stopped. A point you're trying to gloss over. Thank you. Thank you. He could have got his son back, or if Goku was just trying to save the Earth. Goku was just trying to save the Earth. You wanna know what he would have done? He would have tried to convince Raditz that he'll go with him, leave these people alone. Have you ever thought about that, buddy? If Goku was trying to save the Earth, he would have been like, yo, Raditz, leave these people alone. I'll go with you. But you know what he did? He said, get the off my kid, and died. Oh my God. Last one. I know this is EARLLY, but this is completely overblown. You disregard upbringing, biology, and only look at it through human... I know the response is that doesn't excuse giving him credit and give him any credit for being as good as he is despite... Well, okay, I was struggling to read that. Let me start over. And I know the response is that doesn't excuse, but okay, he typed that wrong. That's not an excuse, but you don't give him any credit for being a good parent as he is, despite having all those setbacks, like being raised with no social customs in mind, and as a pure martial artist saying whose very DNA and biology requires them to fight. You actively disregard the time Goku spends with Gohan for the first 4 years of his life and ignore what Goku said. What Goku said was true. Raditz came to Earth because of Goku, thus brought Vegeta and Nappa because they killed people and good guys didn't want to wait till Namek. Now Goku has to clutch up and save them again. And Frieza now came back to Earth because of Goku. The androids were created because of Goku. And Babidi came because of the high battle powers there. Was Goku naive in thinking that everything would stop because of his death? Yeah, but when damn near all of what happened in the story is because of him, why wouldn't he think that? Because he left, the 7 whole years of Priest was brought to the world. He let his thirst for a strong fight be contained in Otherworld and not let it distract the others and left a stronger successor in his absence. The senzu bean with Cell was bad. He realized his mistake. He made it. Well, I disagree with you here. Essentially, the senzu bean was not a bad dad move because 1, Gohan could handle it. 2, Cell was a perfect foil to Gohan. 3, and most importantly, was a 15 toes belief that he believes in his kid. It was not a go kill my kid. Goku knew that Gohan was stronger than Cell, or would be stronger than Cell. Take care and stay blessed. Let me know what you think. And if you think Goku's a bad dad, that's fine. Please don't tell me you agree with that. No hate to you, gang. I just think that you made a very I don't hate your channel, but I think you made a video